Oh, seriously? Good morning.
Good morning.
Better. See, the coffee's kicking in. That's what I like. One more person tells me I look thin, I'll accept it. Thank you for all of you people who have come up to me and told me that I'm much thinner than I used to be. I know that. The better way to say this, you used to be so incredibly fat. That would have been a much better way to describe it. I'm still overweight, but I'm working on it. So thanks. Anybody wants to talk to me about how I actually lost 47 pounds in 100 days, come and ask me, and I'll tell you. I ate less and walked. That's all there is. If you eat less and walk, now everybody knows the secret. We don't need to talk about my weight for one more second today. The last time we're going to talk about it, but thank you all for noticing. It is a journey. My wife thanks you. My kids thank you. I thank you. We're not here to talk about how Shelly lost that much weight. We're here to talk about technology, so thanks so much. All right, moving on. I want to level set a little bit. First of all, thank you all so much for coming today. This is our kickoff to the holiday season. It's our kickoff to CES and Mobile World Congress. I am very proud to be here. I'm very proud of my partner, Zeev Klein, and all the people at Landmark and the people at Team Shelly Palmer who have helped put this on. We are going to talk today about the things that matter the most to each of us in our business, and in some cases in our personal lives, and in some cases just in the way that the world is working. There's no particular story here. This is not a technology, media, and entertainment conference. If you drew a box, content, hardware, software, and brands, each are represented here, and somewhere in the middle is where all of us need to be. A quick level set, and then we're going to start, and we're not going to stop till we start drinking a little later today. First of all, right now, there is something like 2.4 billion people connected to the public internet. That is a gigantic number. Those of you who've seen me speak before know that I love these stats. They are such ridiculous numbers. 3 billion people connected to the internet by 2015. 4 billion people connected to the public internet by 2020. I don't know what 4 billion of anything is. I don't know what 2.4 billion of anything is. It seems like a very big number. All of you who know me know that I like 3 laws. I like to think about 3 laws when I try to contextualize these monstrous numbers. One of them is Moore's law. The other is Metcalfe's law. The other is the law of accelerating returns. If you put them all together, one says that the density of transistors on silicon is going to double every 18 months. That's Gordon Moore's law from 1965. It's not that anymore. Apple just within a few months introduced a processor 2 times more powerful. 8 months later, it's about 8 months. Things are going to be about the same price. The new iPad Air is about the same $499 to start. It's twice as powerful as its predecessor. So Moore's law, kind of in practice, is about every 8 months now. We're going to see a doubling in power, a doubling in throughput, a doubling in capacity at about the same dollar number. And if that's all you get out of Moore's law, if that's how you use it, I'm fine with that, and it'll help you today. Metcalfe's law is a really interesting law. Metcalfe's law, forgetting how we come to name it that, says that the value of a network increases proportional to the square of the number of users. Now, the way to think about that is the way it was originally positioned, which was fax machines. 1 fax machine is meaningless. You can make a copy. 2 fax machines is now a kind of a network. 10 fax machines, more interesting. 1,000 fax machines must have a value. 10,000 fax machines. How do you calculate how much more valuable a network would be as it increases? Well, the observed law, it's not a hard, fast mathematical law. The observed law is that the network increases value proportional to the square of the number of users. You could throw that into an Excel spreadsheet and actually figure out how much more valuable your network will be, how much more valuable your world will be as critical mass occurs. There are something like 4 connected devices in every household in America today. By 15, there will be 16-ish connected devices in every household in America today. That is an exponential increase, which brings us to our 3rd law, the law of accelerating returns, which says that the speed of change is exponential, so quick, in fact, that the exponent is changing exponentially. You can think about this a lot of different ways. I like to say it simply, today is the slowest rate of change you will ever experience for the rest of your life. It's just crazy. The pace of change is just relentless. It's a hockey stick. And that really brings us to the thrust of what we're going to cover today. The history of humanity is written by its tools. For 250,000 years, we're in the Stone Age. So long were we in the Stone Age, we don't even have records except for the stones buried in the ground. 8,000 years ago, we know that the Copper Age / Bronze Age began. How do we know? We can see the tools in the ground. It predates written language. It wasn't until 5,000 years ago that the Sumerians invented language to be written down. So we have some kind of written record from about 5,000 years ago. 3,500 years ago, the Iron Age begins. We know that because we do have written records from it. 250-ish years ago, the Industrial Age. 43-ish years ago, although I like to say 42. Anybody know why? What's 42? There we go. So, there are some Hitchhiker's Guide fans in the audience. That was about as geeky as today's going to get. Calm yourselves. About 43 years ago, the Information Age starts. Now let's talk about a hockey stick. 250,000 years, nothing's going on. 8,000 years to copper and bronze. 3,500 years to iron. 250 years industrial. 43 years information. Does that look like a hockey stick? It does. Today, you're not going to be allowed to say a couple of things. One, it's not going to happen in my lifetime. Not acceptable. That's not going to happen for years. Unacceptable. Don't think that way. Don't bring that in this room. At CES 2012, Alan Mulally was asked in front of me at dinner, when will Ford have autonomous cars, cars that drive themselves? And Alan said, and I quote, not in my lifetime. Shelly, there are 50,000 pages of regulation on the little blinker delay you're not going to ever see. You're never going to see a self-driving car. Anybody from Google in the room? Yay. Google is picking people up from the airport and taking them to Mountain View in a self-driving car, because 4 months after I was told it was never happening in Alan Mulally's lifetime, Google got approval to road test an autonomous car in California. At CES 2013, this past January, both Audi and Lexus were demonstrating self-driving cars on the floor. Never going to happen in the lifetime of the chief executive officer of the only car company that didn't need a government bailout, one of the smartest guys I know in the world. Within a year, half a dozen car companies are starting to test self-driving cars, and one company, not a car company I might add, is road testing them. You're not allowed to say it's not happening for years. It's not happening in my lifetime. Not in this room, not today. Today, I want you to think like anything except faster than light travel and teleportation is possible. Now, I think teleportation might be possible if you use 3D printing and scanning and stuff, but it's not the teleportation that Star Trek makes us want to believe, like my atoms are all sort of scrambled up here and I'm moved over there. Beam me up, Scotty. It's not in our physics. And if you do the math, you know why. But faster than light travel, with all deference to the people who like warp speed, I think relativity still rules our world, all you quantum physicists notwithstanding. Not going to let you go faster than light today, but every other thing you can think about, you personally can think about, is possible in this room today, and probable, because that's what's happening. That's the speed it's happening. Infrastructure is changing buy side and sell side in ways that are unimaginable. There are no barriers to entry, to production of anything, and consumers are not respecting distribution channels on from either side. It started with the music industry, and no one really understood what was happening. And now it's happening to the video industry and everything else. Retail distribution channels are forever changed and will continue to be so. Subscription businesses, like the diaper business, are all of a sudden changing the way consumers actually do things like get commodities delivered to their homes. And it's not a homogeneous world. It's heterogeneous in the most sincere way. There is nothing about this where you can go, I got a silver bullet solution. Not only are we in the most complex time ever in our history, the solutions are more complex than ever, which requires you to bring the one thing you have that no one else in the world has with them, and that's why each and every one of you was handpicked to be in this room today. You're going to bring your experience, your knowledge, your business acumen, the things that have taught you, you're forged in the failures you've been forged in, as well as the successes you've been rejoiced in. You're going to bring those to today, and you're going to help us all do a better job architecting the future. Look to your left, look to your right. Everyone in this room is a personal architect of the future, and this conference is dedicated to that idea, that each and every one of you can help make the future the way you want it to be. So I thank you so very much for coming. I just want to introduce one person without whom none of this could happen. Before we start, Zeev Klein, get up and take a bow right now. Zeev Klein. Zeev and I have put this on for a while. Zeev is a dear friend. He is also the greatest partner you could ever have. And if you've got an M&A deal you want to do, talk to Zeev. So, without further ado, I want you all to get ready to work today, because today is a work day. We are going to sit here and we are going to try and figure the future out, and then it would be my personal pleasure to introduce you to anyone you want to meet. Zeev will introduce you to anyone you want to meet. We want to do business here. Today is a business event for those of you who do business. For those of you who don't do business, you'll do a little business anyway. Without further ado, our first moderator will introduce his panel. We're going to get started right now. Alton Adams from KPMG, dear friend and awesome thinker. Alton, come on up here and get us started. Thank you, everybody.